My name is Reverend Cindy Paulus. Welcome to another Meditation Dynamics. This is number 7 in the series, all part of Mystical Perspectives. And what I do with Meditation Dynamics is I just basically review the book by Dr. Paul Leon Masters. And Meditation Dynamics is a wonderful book. It teaches you the basic information about meditation. Meditation is one of the greatest gifts you can have. It directs you into fabulous states of mystical peace, where problems melt away and your mind becomes still. And that opens you up to the frequency of love from the source. And that love you feel is part of your integrated human experience. Dr. Paul Leon Masters really dedicated a large part of his life to the art of meditation. He started over 50 years ago, and I began with him over 50 years ago, and I meditate every day, and it's always good to go back to that beginner's mind and look at some of the important parts of meditation. There are now literally hundreds of ways to meditate. And there's a lot of good you can do. You find out after a while, when you've been meditating for a while, that it's a never-ending process, that we are always able to benefit from meditation. I'm up to page 30 in the book. And today's subject is involved in psychic control practices. It starts off with here, always be aware of what you are saying and how you are saying it. So simple and so complex, right? How many times do we just run off at the mouth and aren't even aware of what we're saying? What part of us is letting that go? What part of our subconscious is gaining control? If we can have control over a thought, that's so powerful. And then if we can have control over what we do with what we say, we have really got a great gift. He goes on to say, be aware of the words you are choosing to say and what you have to say. Avoid the use of negative words. They set up and attract negative vibrational reactions. Now you might ask yourself, what has this got to do with meditation? Well, in meditation, we're not trying to escape. We're trying to bring and be aware of the ultimate presence of God. And that presence is there with us. Now, what we do with that is, when we learn that, we need to integrate it into the way we live our lives. And we have to put it into practice in our lives. And if we're just meditating and we're not able to put that positive energy to work in our lives, then we're missing a major part of why we're meditating. And it's not easy. It's a lifetime practice. That's why we always go back to these basic things. He then goes on to say, cultivate the use of positive words, for they set up and attract other positive vibrational reactions. Always be aware of the fact that every word leaving your mouth is a psychic current of vibrational energy. If you have something unpleasant that has to be spoken of, pause for a moment mentally and try to use words that will take the psychic sting out of what you have to say. Learn and practice pausing for a moment mentally before speaking, trying to frame your thoughts into positive words. Carefully guard the volume and pitch of your voice when speaking. Try to develop and maintain a voice tone that is harmonious. Now, I've been a DJ for over 40 years. I have a couple of radio shows, including the longest running talk show on Maui. And I tell you, when you're talking for an hour, it's very easy to lose track of the tone and the volume. There's a real gift and art to it. I have over 4 spoken word CDs out. And as much as you work on this, sometimes you listen back to your voice and go, okay, how do I get that harmonious ring, that certain tone you get when you're in the very center of the presence? There's a real art to it, believe me. This is important too. He says, if you smile when you speak, or at least have a pleasant facial expression, you can increase the positive vibrational energies of your spoken words. When thinking or speaking about conditions or others, avoid negative curse terms. Their mental or verbal utilization can only attract you to increased negativity from people or conditions. Now, what do we think about things like the rap songs that are so popular? I write a lot on this app that has a lot of the rap artists because it's a great place it gives you all kinds of rhymes and things you can use in ways you can share your words. So I'm in there, and sometimes I look at what other people are posting. Some of these rap artists posting, it is all this negative hate vibration, and a lot of times to women. And I can't help but wonder, I guess they think that's the cool thing to do, but they don't realize what they're putting out there to the world, And some of them are talking about shooting and hating and killing, and it's like, whoa, you got to be aware of what that vibrational energy is creating, right? Dr. Masters goes on to say, if you have the feeling to curse someone or something out loud or silently, pause for a moment mentally, catch yourself, and bless the person or condition instead. This will not only attract positive psychic vibrations to you, but it will also help clear up the situation. If a negative or destructive word slips out, say out loud, I nullify the word I have just used and instead bless that person and condition. What you put out to people comes back to you 100-fold. And the love you send out also does that. The hate and the energy that you're sending out, if you have that, will also come back to you. And you're subject to it. So this is a really important process. Dr. Masters goes on to say, be silent about your desires and goals. Keeping silent builds psychic energy in your mind, thus giving more magnetism to your psychic thought currents that are traveling into the creative psychic medium of universal mind. Therefore, speak only when necessary. Now, this has become very debated question in our world of social media, Kickstarter, GoFundMe. We're very used to getting everyone behind what we're doing. But it's interesting when I see how everyone puts that out there, and sometimes they do all that and then it's not successful either. And then they're putting themselves as someone who failed because they somehow put out this idea and it didn't work, right? So you have to really meditate on whether you want to put out what you are desiring and wishing to create. Not only that, people can steal your ideas. And concluding this particular group of words, he says, do not speak needlessly just for the sake of talking. Thus you build up a psychic energy reserve for the vibrational force or power of your spoken words. I have a couple of people I know, and sometimes I just don't want to talk to them. I don't want to answer the phone. I don't want to even engage in a conversation because they will go on for 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes just talking about anything, basically trying to get your energy. But they are not aware of what they're saying. A lot of times it is not positive. And I really just, I've been developing ways to politely just avoid them or avoid engaging. They're kind of spiritual psychic vampires with verbal energy spoken out. All right, that's the first section here. We're going to go on to page 31 about positive thinking follow-through method. Absolute positive thinking is when the godlike sense opens you to all of the divine attributes of God, such as wisdom, love, creativity, healing, and all other divine virtues associated with the mind/spirit that is God. It's only good sense and divine wisdom, therefore, to pursue the cleansing and clearing of your mind of all negatives. It's a way that opens your mind at its conscious level to the universal mind of God. The purpose of positive thinking follow through is to enforce the psychological power of positive thoughts as they enter into your mind during your daily activities, and to generate more psychic energy into positive thoughts as they go out into the psychic atmosphere for the purpose of attracting corresponding good to you. The principle behind this is immediate follow-through upon the idea of a positive thought. As you think it forms a greater seal of its acceptance and influence over your mind. The positive thought then becomes a greater reality in your mind, and thus its power is more activated in your life. So if you're tuned in to all this amazing power, creative energy that comes when you meditate, how do you put that to work? You get all of this energy, but sometimes there's so much there you have to really stop and really find out that wonderful energy of love, wisdom, creativity, and healing associated with it, and pursue the cleansing and clearing of your mind of negative so it has a way to grow. In other words, you're creating a beautiful, fertile field to grow the energy of these creative seed thoughts. And this is very, very important. This is also something you can do within your mind in meditation. Because when you meditate, you're in a very powerful mindset and channeled and tuned into a higher source. If your mind is negative, you can increase the negative. If your mind is positive, you can increase the positive. So the way to follow through with the positive is to actually give it energy, positive energy, as they go out into the psychic atmosphere. The principles behind this are immediate follow-through upon the idea of a positive thought. As you think it forms a greater seal of acceptance, right? The positive thought then becomes a greater reality. This is very basic. Energy out, energy in. Energy for creation, the way to let it grow, the way to let it manifest. Now here's the technique behind it. Each day, as you engage in your daily activities, do the following every time a positive thought about yourself or your life or your abilities or your possibilities enters your mind. Rather than just letting the thought pass through your mind and then enter your subconscious, enforce the power of the thought in your mind by adding to it the words, "and so it is." That's the seal. That's the believing, the receiving the seal, and so it is. And all of the affirmations that Dr. Master shares here, and in the wonderful book, Spiritual Mind Power Affirmations, we can add, "and so it is," to these wonderful affirmations and then give it more energy. You can repeat these words more than once, even for more power and acceptance by your mind. As you say these words, feel that positive thought you have just thought has been given added energy as it travels into the psychic atmosphere, attracting its corresponding good to you. You can do this every day with every positive thought that you think. And more day by day, you'll see the positive effect it has on having a positive mental attitude and the increase of good in your life. By involving your psychic, spiritual practices with your everyday actions, you are creating greater psychic, spiritual energy in your mind. This will telepathically and spiritually produce positive results and harmony in your life. Again, there was a very famous book by Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking. It became a huge bestseller, and it just dealt with some of the basic principles about this positive energy. Now moving on to the next chapter here. This one is self-hypnotic induction. Metaphysical hypnosis is a natural yet spiritual form of suggested therapy. Basically, you can reprogram your mind through hypnosis, and you can connect with your higher consciousness in the presence of God within you. You might have picked up or followed some of Dr. Master's Voice of Meditations. And Dr. Master's meditations, he almost always starts with the way of going through your whole body in a very slow process and a very easy way, going through each part of your body. And you will notice that as you do that, you are going deeper into a subconscious, almost self-hypnotic state, which again leaves you in the position to be in a much more receptive way to allow that positive energy to come to you. Having taught both meditation and self-hypnotic techniques to thousands, Dr. Masters did this for over 40 years, and he says the practices of meditation and self-hypnosis are, in the initial stages, are based on identical factors. They are both attempting to achieve relaxation and concentration simultaneously. Self-hypnotic induction is the process utilized to initiate the release of one's consciousness from a personal ego state to a universal state, higher mind, or God consciousness. Now here's some of the principles behind this. Fully relax yourself via breathing, physical or other exercises before beginning induction. Now we all know that in the years of meditation, as it's grown and grown, almost all teachers tell you first to get in a comfortable position with your spine erect and then do the breathing practices. A lot of breathing practices are now just the only way of meditation for many people. They just do this following of your breath, the counting of your breath, the awareness of your breath, always bringing you back to your breath. Do not read from instructions as you induct. In other words, that's a distraction, right? You should know these things by heart. Memorize the basic wording of the hypnotic induction, but the memorization does not have to be word for word. Use words that are comfortable and natural to you, as long as the ideas that you are conveying to yourself remain the same. Do not hurry yourself. Take your time and drag out induction suggestions by thinking about them thoroughly as you say them to yourself. Attempt to feel each induction suggestion taking effect as you are thinking it, such as your arms, legs, or body getting heavy. Continuously repeat the induction suggestions to yourself until you feel their mental and physical manifestation. After you've brought about a fair degree of hypnosis, concentrate your suggestions, deepening the hypnotic state. Here's an example. I am now going still deeper and deeper into sleep, and I am drifting further, still further into hypnotic sleep. If you're giving yourself more than one self-improvement suggestion during the self-hypnotic period, deepen the hypnotic level after each suggestion that is made. If you record a breathing exercises or self-hypnotic induction, breathe heavily into the mic as you record. Experiment by playing soft melodies in the background as you make the spoken part of the recording. If you put more than one post-hypnotic self-improvement suggestion on your recording, be sure to re-deepen your hypnotic sleep before going on to another suggestion. Now here's some examples of breathing conditioning and sleep synthesis suggestions. Here's the purpose: physical healing. The inhaling suggestion would be, while I sleep. Breathe that in, and exhaling, my body is healed. In other words, your purpose again in mind is physical healing before you go to sleep. While I sleep, breathing out, my body is healed. And for peace, your purpose, if your purpose is peace in your sleep synthesis suggestion, breathe in, as I sleep, breathing out, peace. peace fills me. Breathing in. As I sleep, peace fills me. Breathing in. As I sleep, breathing out, peace fills me. Self-direction suggestion. While I sleep, breathing out, I am directed. While I sleep, I am directed. For confidence, as I sleep, breathing out, I am one with the higher power. As I sleep, as you breathe in, breathing out, I am one with the higher power. And for awareness, while I sleep, breathing out, awareness in me awakens. Breathing in, while I sleep, breathing out, awareness in me awakens. Now there's more, but we're going to go into more in our next reading. There's quite a bit here, and these are all very powerful, so I don't want to take away from the impact of these. I do suggest getting this book, Meditation Dynamics. It's now available if you go to metaphysics.com, and you can also get it on amazon.com. If you go to metaphysics.com, you can look up Meditation Dynamics. Just go to the section that has books in there, and you can also see Mystical Insights and Spiritual Mind Affirmations, and now Meditation Dynamics. And all these also are available on Amazon. I really appreciate you joining us here for this special look at the Meditation Dynamics as we continue on. We're really only up to page 36, so there's quite a bit more to do, but these are all very powerful informational things that you can take into your daily life. Again, think about the power of your words and the way you use the words. That was in the first part, and the next part goes into self-hypnotic suggestions. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I wish you the best in your life always. God bless you. And by the way, all of these different talks are available for free that I've done at mysticalperspectives.com.